This is Mr. Beck Does Your Homework. This is physics homework number 7 about trig and horizontal projectiles. Question number 18. I give you a warning up here. It says, Mr. Beck says, watch out for centimeters. Let's see what I'm talking about. In a TV set, an electron beam moves with horizontal velocity of 2.8 times 10 to the 7th meters per second across the cathode ray tube and strikes the screen 44 centimeters away. So let's see what that looks like. I've got some electron beam shooting out at a certain velocity. This is a cathode ray tube, so from the back of the TV it sprays up to the front of the TV and it's going to come this direction, but it's not going to go all the way, it's actually going to fall down a little bit. So I do have a projectile as these beams, as these electrons fall down due to gravity. Now it's not much, but that's what we're going to look for. How far does the electron beam fall while traversing this distance? So I'm going to be looking for this distance right there. Now I know that the electron beam has a horizontal velocity of 2.8 times 10 to the 7th. So let's start with x world and y world. In the x world, I've got a velocity of 2.8 times 10 to the 7th meters per second. My y world velocity initially is going to be 0 because they're shooting horizontally. In the x world, I know my acceleration is 0. In the y world, my acceleration is going to be negative 9.8 meters per second squared. I also know that the screen is 44 centimeters away, so they're going to travel horizontally 44 centimeters. So my displacement is 44 centimeters. But everything else is in meters and meters per second. So when I say watch out for centimeters, you have to know that 44 centimeters, well, that's a little less than half a meter, so that's going to be 0.44 meters. Very important. Now it says, how far does the electron beam fall while traversing this distance? So what I'm looking for is my displacement. Actually, it's going to be a positive number, but I'm looking for my displacement in the y world. Now I've got an initial velocity, an acceleration. I'm looking for a displacement, and that's only 3 variables. I need a 4th variable. I can't figure out my final y velocity, but maybe I can figure out my time if I look in the x world. Because if I can figure out time in the x world, then I can plug it into the y world. Well, in the x world, I know that my velocity is my displacement over time, or my displacement is my velocity times time. So I can take either one of these and rearrange it and get time. So I'm going to get my time is going to be my displacement over my velocity. So that's going to be 0.44 meters divided by my 2.8 times 10 to the 7th meters per second, and that will give me the amount of time it takes to fall. Now if I want my displacement, so that's going to be the time, but that's not what it's asking for. It's looking for the displacement. So now my displacement is my initial velocity times time plus 1/2 my acceleration times time squared. Well, my initial velocity times time, my initial velocity is 0, so this goes away. So now my displacement is just going to be 1/2 of my acceleration, negative 9.8, times time squared. So whatever this is, square it, it goes in here, and that'll give me some number. That's actually going to give me a negative number, but it says how far. How far sounds like they're asking for scalar. So enter that as positive. And that's what you're looking for.